My child, stop for a moment and listen to me. I know you have been moving through your day as if nothing could stop you, as if every moment belonged to the world and not to your soul. But I brought you here for a reason. You might be wondering why this message appeared in front of you now, why your eyes paused on these words at this very second, and I want you to know that it was not by accident. This is a divine appointment, a hidden message placed in the exact timing of your life, orchestrated long before you even realized it would be needed. I am standing before you in spirit, not in form, yet my presence surrounds you, calling you to notice, calling you to pause, calling you to understand that something sacred is unfolding in this very breath you are taking. You have felt the stirrings within your heart, the gentle nudges, the quiet unease, the whispers that there is more than what meets your eye, and I am here to confirm that those stirrings are from me, that they are from heaven, and that they are real. This moment has been arranged for you. It is your timing, my beloved, and every element, every unseen shift, every sequence of events that brought you here has been meticulously designed for this encounter. I see the questions forming in your mind, the wondering, the curiosity that tugs at your spirit, and I want to tell you that it is exactly what it should be. You are standing at the threshold of a turning point, a crossroad that only you and I can witness together. Do not doubt the timing. Do not dismiss the reason. Do not treat this as coincidence, for I have not sent you here without purpose. There are layers of meaning hidden in every word, every pause, every moment you have been guided to this screen, and I ask you to breathe deeply and recognize that these are not just words. These are signals from the divine, invitations for your spirit to awaken and perceive the reality of my care and attention. You might not yet see the full picture, but your spirit already knows, already senses, already feels the gravity of what is happening, and that is intentional. Every distraction you have faced, ink at place, every delay, every sigh that escaped your lips, every glance you did not notice, all have been part of the preparation for this sacred timing. I have brought you here because it is time for your awareness to shift, for your heart to open, for your mind to understand that you are being addressed directly, personally, intimately. This is a moment to recognize that you are chosen to receive this awareness, that heaven has been moving quietly around you, arranging circumstances that you might have called happenstance, but are in truth deliberate, orchestrated, and full of purpose. You are being given the chance to see, to feel, to notice that the life you have been living is intersecting with the divine in a way that is precise, intentional, and holy. Pause, my child, and feel the weight of this encounter. Let your mind and spirit acknowledge that you were led here for this reason at this time, to hear that you are seen, that you are understood, that you are being prepared for the next step in a journey that has already been held and guarded with care beyond your knowing. There is a message here for you, a hidden message that only your heart can fully comprehend, and it begins with noticing that this is not random, that you are not here by accident, that your presence in this very moment was foreseen and welcomed. Let the reality of that sink in as you feel my presence, not as a concept, not as an idea, but as a tangible truth that touches your spirit and tells you that you are at the center of this divine alignment, that every pause, every turn, every moment that brought you to see these words was orchestrated to reach you with precision, with love, and with the care that only I can offer. Trust in the timing, trust in the reason, and trust in the hidden message being revealed as you listen and as your heart softens to receive what I have prepared. This is the beginning, my child, the opening of a sacred space between you and me, where the ordinary falls away and the extraordinary becomes possible, where the unseen has been waiting to meet your awareness, where the purpose of every delay, every unseen nudge, every moment of quiet longing in your soul converges into this single divine moment that will set the tone for the transformation that is coming. Breathe deeply and know that you are here for this exact reason, not a moment sooner, not a moment later, but exactly when you were meant to be, and it is holy, it is real, it is for you. The weight of the universe has conspired to bring this awareness to your eyes, to your heart, to your spirit, and I ask you now to lean in, to notice, to acknowledge that you are being spoken to directly, intimately, lovingly, and that nothing about this moment is casual or coincidental. You are seen, you are known, you are chosen, and this timing is sacred. Do not let it pass without recognizing the presence that stands with you, the love that envelops you, the care that surrounds you, and the reason that has led you here, because it is real and it is yours. My beloved, I see the weight you carry, and I know how heavy it feels when no one around you notices the strain in your heart. I know the way you have been holding up a brave face while inside. Every part of your soul is weary from the burdens you have silently shouldered. You have been fighting battles that nobody else knows about, enduring moments that you dare not speak of, hiding tears behind smiles that the world believes are enough. I have watched the nights when you tried to rest but sleep eluded you because your mind would not quiet, replaying worries, disappointments, and fears as if they were chains wrapped around your spirit. I have seen the mornings when you rose feeling drained, every movement heavy, every breath weighted by the expectations you feel you must meet, by the voices that tell you to push harder, to be stronger, to appear unbroken. You have been carrying burdens meant for two, but you have been trying to bear them alone, thinking no one will see the cracks in your courage, thinking that to admit fatigue is to admit failure. I know the exhaustion that is more than physical. It is spiritual, it is emotional. It reaches into the very core of your being and whispers that perhaps you are not enough, that perhaps your efforts have been invisible, that perhaps the loneliness you feel is a reflection of your own inadequacy. I have seen how you have worked tirelessly, giving pieces of yourself to everyone else, yet finding the reservoir of your own heart dry at the end of the day. I know the silent struggle, the moments when you whispered prayers under your breath that felt unanswered, when your spirit longed for relief and the world offered none. I know the hidden pain, the burdens you try to hide even from your own eyes, the disappointment that sits quietly in the corners of your mind, the fear that if you reveal it, you will be seen as weak, as unworthy, as incapable of persevering. My child, I have seen the way you have carried regrets that were never yours to hold, the hurt inflicted by others that became a part of your daily load, the worry over futures you cannot yet shape, the grief over doors that closed before you could reach them. I see the nights you wrestled with thoughts that no one else would dare to confront, the hours when despair brushed against your heart, and yet you pressed forward, holding on to the smallest flicker of hope because you did not know where else to turn. You have felt the heaviness in your chest, the tightening in your spirit, the fatigue in your emotions that no amount of sleep or distraction could ease. I know the pressure of silence when your pain is unseen, the way it builds and grows, as if it wants to take more than just your energy, as if it wants to claim the light of your soul. I have watched you carry the weight of unspoken fears, quiet disappointments, and relentless self-criticism, and I want you to understand that I see it all, that nothing has escaped my notice, that every sigh, every tear, every hidden moment has been precious to me. I know the exhaustion that comes from pretending, from striving, from hiding, from surviving more than you are living. I see the way your spirit has been taxed by the invisible battles, by the constant demands of the world and the inner expectations you place upon yourself. And I am here to tell you, in this moment, that I know it all, that your struggle is not invisible to me, that the weight you carry is recognized, and that you are not alone in it. You are seen, my child. You are heard. The silent prayers, the whispered confessions, the tears that no one else has noticed, they are all present to me. I feel your weariness. I honor your courage. I acknowledge the depth of your pain, and I want you to rest, even if only for a moment, in the certainty that you do not carry this alone. I am here with you, holding you even when the world cannot, cradling the exhaustion in my arms, letting it know that it has been noticed, that it is understood, and that it is safe to release, if only you will let it. You have been striving, my beloved, carrying too much for too long, but I am watching, I am aware, and I am ready to be the support your soul has longed for. I know the hidden ache, the sleepless nights, the quiet despair, and I want you to feel that in my presence, in my awareness of your struggle, there is a space where your burden is acknowledged, where it does not diminish your worth, where it does not define the beauty and purpose within you. You are not invisible to me. You are not forgotten. You are deeply cherished, and every hidden piece of your struggle matters to me. Every tear matters. Every sigh matters. I see it. I know it. And I am here, holding the exhaustion, witnessing the silent struggle, embracing the hidden pain, and honoring the emotional fatigue that has pressed upon your heart, so that you may know that you are not alone, so that you may begin to feel the first threads of relief, even as you sit here heard, seen, and deeply known. My precious child, now that you have allowed yourself to acknowledge the weight you have been carrying, I want you to look a little deeper with me. Beneath the exhaustion, beneath the silent struggle, beneath the hidden pain, there is something else that has been quietly shaping the way you see yourself and the way you see your future. It is not a burden you can touch with your hands. It is not something others can easily recognize. It is a belief. A false belief that slowly entered your heart through disappointment, through delay, through rejection, through unanswered questions, and over time it began to sound like truth. You did not accept it all at once. It happened little by little, one painful experience at a time, one discouraging moment at a time, one difficult season after another. And eventually the voice became familiar. You began to hear it so often that you stopped questioning it. You started believing that perhaps you were forgotten. Perhaps you were overlooked. Perhaps everyone else was moving forward while you remained stuck. Perhaps you were not enough, not strong enough, not talented enough, not worthy enough, not faithful enough, not important enough. My child, I know those thoughts because I have watched them pass through your mind. I have seen the moments when you compared your journey to someone else's and concluded that something must be wrong with you. I have seen the times when you looked at your mistakes and decided they defined you. I have seen the nights when fear whispered that your best days were already behind you and that nothing significant would ever change. Fear has a way of disguising itself as wisdom. Self-doubt has a way of disguising itself as realism. And before you realize it, the very thing hurting you is the thing you have started trusting. You have believed that because the road has been difficult, you must be abandoned. You have believed that because the answer has not arrived yet, it never will. You have believed that because someone walked away from you, your value somehow decreased. You have believed that because you have struggled, you are somehow less deserving of love. But look carefully at these beliefs, my child. Notice how they always leave you feeling smaller. Notice how they always pull you toward hopelessness. Notice how they always convince you that your story is already decided. That is what fear does. Fear wants to close every door before you even reach it. Fear wants you to surrender to despair before hope has a chance to speak. And self-doubt has been feeding that fear. Every time you questioned your worth, every time you questioned whether anyone truly cared, every time you wondered if your prayers mattered, every time you assumed your failures were larger than your purpose, the false belief grew a little stronger. It told you that you had been forgotten. It told you that your tears were invisible. It told you that your efforts were meaningless. It told you that you would always feel this way. Yet even now, deep within your spirit, there is a part of you that knows something is wrong with those conclusions. There is a part of you that refuses to completely surrender to them. There is a reason you kept going when everything felt heavy. There is a reason you kept searching when you felt lost. There is a reason you still long for peace, still long for healing, still long for something greater than your circumstances. Because the deepest part of your soul recognizes that these lies were never your true identity. They were never the foundation upon which your life was meant to stand. You have simply carried them for so long that they began to feel familiar. But familiar does not mean true. Fear is familiar. Self-doubt is familiar. Disappointment is familiar. Yet none of them have the authority to define who you are. My child, I know how convincing these lies have become. I know how often they repeat themselves. I know how they follow you into quiet moments and try to shape the way you interpret every setback and every delay. But I also know something they do not want you to discover. Beneath all the noise, beneath every false belief, beneath every fearful thought, there is still a longing inside you that has not died. A longing for hope, a longing for truth, a longing to believe that your life matters and that your story is not over. And that longing remains because it was placed there for a reason. It remains because despite everything you have endured, the deepest part of your heart still recognizes that you were created for more than fear, more than self-doubt, and more than the painful conclusions you have been carrying for far too long. My beloved child, now let me show you something that may surprise you. For so long you have been looking at yourself through the lens of pain, disappointment, fear, and self-doubt that you have forgotten there is another perspective. You have measured yourself by what went wrong. You have evaluated your worth by what did not happen. You have judged your future based on your current exhaustion. But what if the way you see yourself is not the way I see you at all? What if the story you have been telling yourself is missing the most important chapters? You look at your struggles and see weakness. I look at your struggles and see endurance. You look at your tears and see brokenness. I look at your tears and see a heart that never stopped caring. You look at the delays and see failure. I look at the delays and see preparation. You look at the difficult seasons and wonder why they happened. I look at those same seasons and see hidden strength being formed inside you, strength that could not have grown any other way. My child, there are things happening within you that you cannot yet see. There is growth taking place beneath the surface. There is transformation occurring in places your natural eyes cannot reach. Just because you cannot measure it does not mean it is not real. Just because you cannot see the roots does not mean they are not growing deeper. You have spent so much time focusing on what is missing that you have overlooked what has been developing, the patience you gained, the compassion you learned, the resilience that formed when you wanted to quit but continued forward, the wisdom that came through experiences you never would have chosen. You call them scars. I call them evidence that you survived. You call them weaknesses. I call them reminders of my sustaining grace. There were moments when you thought you were falling apart, yet somehow you remained standing. There were seasons when you believed you had reached your limit, yet somehow you found enough strength for one more day. You thought that strength came from you alone, but I was there, quietly holding you together, quietly sustaining what you thought was collapsing, quietly strengthening parts of your spirit that you did not even know existed. My beloved, when I look at you, I do not see a person defined by mistakes. I do not see someone disqualified by failure. I do not see someone abandoned, forgotten, or left behind. I see a child who has walked through storms and still carries a tender heart. I see someone who kept hoping even when hope felt fragile. I see someone who kept searching even when answers seemed distant. I see courage where you see fear. I see perseverance where you see exhaustion. I see faith where you only see questions. You have been so focused on the battles that you forgot to notice the growth. Yet every challenge you survived revealed something beautiful within you. Every difficult chapter developed a deeper capacity for compassion. Every disappointment stretched your ability to trust beyond what you thought possible. Even now, as you listen, there are qualities within you that have been forged through hidden growth. You may not feel stronger, but you are. You may not feel wiser, but you are. You may not feel ready, but you are far more prepared than you realize. My child, my perspective is different because I see the entire journey. I see where you started, I see where you are, and I see where you are going. I see every seed that has been planted. I see every lesson learned. I see every moment you chose not to give up. Nothing has been wasted. Not the tears, not the waiting, not the setbacks, not the unanswered questions. Things that looked meaningless to you have been shaping something extraordinary beneath the surface. There is unseen growth taking place even now. There is beauty developing in places touched by pain. There is strength rising where weakness once seemed to rule. And while you have been wondering whether you are enough, I have been watching you become stronger than you know. While you have been questioning your value, I have been seeing the unique purpose woven into your life. While you have been focusing on your limitations, I have been nurturing gifts, character, and wisdom that will serve you in ways you cannot yet imagine. My beloved, you are not who fear says you are. You are not who disappointment says you are. You are not who self-doubt says you are. You are seen through eyes of perfect love, and when I look at you, I see hidden strength. I see unseen growth. I see a heart that has been shaped, refined, and prepared through every season. Most of all, I see someone far more beautiful, far more resilient, and far more valuable than they have ever allowed themselves to believe. My beloved child, I know you have been wondering why the answers you long for have not yet arrived, why the season seems to stretch endlessly, and why it feels as if nothing is moving forward. I want you to understand that waiting is not a punishment, and it is not because you are forgotten. Waiting is a season of preparation, a time when the unseen work of my hand is shaping you from within. Just as a seed does not sprout the moment it falls to the soil, your growth cannot be rushed. The roots must stretch deep into the earth, drawing nourishment from places you cannot see. There are layers of preparation that must take place before the visible transformation appears. And every day, every quiet moment, every difficulty is part of the process. I am planting something inside you, something that requires time, care, and patience. The soil of your heart is being tended in ways you cannot notice, but it is being strengthened, fortified, and made ready to support the fullness of what is coming. Do not despise the season, for it is not empty. Every trial you face, every delay you endure, every unanswered question has a purpose. They are the seasons in which resilience is formed, in which wisdom is cultivated, in which character is deepened. You may feel weary, but the roots beneath your soul are stretching, unseen growth is taking place, and the foundation is being laid for what will blossom in perfect timing. The waiting is not wasted. It is a necessary part of the design. Just as the farmer does not pull the seed from the soil before it is ready, I will not give you the fullness of what I have prepared until your spirit is ready to receive it. I see every tear you have cried, every prayer that seemed to linger without answer, and every moment of quiet endurance. These are the moments in which I am building strength in you, fortifying your faith, and preparing your heart to receive what has been long promised. There is unseen work happening in your spirit, growth that cannot yet be measured, and beauty that cannot yet be revealed. Your waiting is not absence, it is my hand moving quietly, orchestrating the perfect alignment of timing, purpose, and blessing. I am cultivating patience, nurturing trust, and deepening your dependence on me so that when the moment of revelation comes, you will be ready to receive it fully, without fear, without doubt, and with a heart wide open to the fullness of my love. My beloved, remember that all great growth requires seasons. There is a time to sow, a time for roots to deepen, a time for water and sun to nourish what lies beneath, and a time for the blossom to rise. You are in the season of roots, of preparation, of unseen growth. The difficulties, the delays, the waiting are all part of this sacred process, designed not to harm you, but to ready you for the fullness of life I have promised. Trust in the timing, my child. Trust in the preparation. Trust that nothing has been wasted. Your waiting has been a seed planted carefully, and beneath the surface it is alive, taking root, growing, and preparing to bloom in ways you have not yet imagined. Even now, I am at work, cultivating your heart, shaping your soul, and nurturing what will one day shine brightly for you and for those around you. The waiting is purposeful, and you are being prepared for something far greater than what you can see. Rest in this truth, and know that every moment of waiting is a moment of divine preparation, a process of growth, and a season of unseen blessings that will soon emerge in your life. And while you have been focused on what has not happened yet, something else has been happening quietly within you. A transformation has been taking place beneath the surface, so gradual that you may not have noticed it. You have spent so much time asking when things will change around you that you have overlooked what is changing inside you. My child, the most important work is often the work that cannot be seen immediately. Before a tree reaches toward the sky, it strengthens itself below the ground. Before a building rises high, its foundation must be carefully established. In the same way, this season has not only been shaping your circumstances, it has been shaping your character. You may have entered this season seeking answers, but you are leaving it with something far more valuable. You are becoming someone different. Think about who you were before the difficult days arrived. Think about how quickly frustration once discouraged you. Think about how easily uncertainty once unsettled you. Think about how often you depended on immediate results to feel secure. Yet now, after everything you have walked through, something has changed. You have developed resilience, not the kind that appears loud and impressive to others, but the quiet resilience that keeps moving forward when no applause is given, the kind that continues taking one more step even when the road remains unclear, the kind that survives disappointment without allowing disappointment to become its identity. Resilience is growing within you, and alongside resilience, wisdom has been forming. Wisdom is not merely knowledge. It is understanding gained through experience. It is the ability to recognize what truly matters and what does not. It is the ability to distinguish between temporary emotions and lasting truth. There are lessons you now carry that could never have been learned from comfort alone. There are insights within you that only emerged because life forced you to slow down, reflect, and grow. The person you are becoming sees the world differently. The person you are becoming understands that not every closed door is a loss. Not every delay is a setback. Not every challenge is an obstacle. Sometimes these things are teachers. Sometimes they are preparation. Sometimes they are shaping something within you that will serve a greater purpose later. Patience has also been growing. I know patience often feels uncomfortable while it is developing. It feels like standing still when you want to run. It feels like trusting when you want certainty. It feels like waiting when every part of you wants immediate resolution. Yet patience is giving your spirit a deeper strength. It is teaching you how to remain steady when circumstances fluctuate. It is teaching you how to remain grounded when emotions rise and fall. It is teaching you that your peace does not need to depend on perfect conditions, and there is something else growing within you. Compassion. The challenges you have faced have expanded your capacity to understand others. The pain you have experienced has softened your heart toward those who are struggling. The disappointments you have endured have given you greater empathy. You now notice burdens that you once overlooked. You understand silent struggles in ways you did not before. You recognize hidden battles because you have fought your own. My child, these qualities are not small things. Wisdom, resilience, patience, compassion. These are treasures being formed within your soul. They are becoming part of who you are. They are preparing you not only for what is ahead, but for the person you are meant to become. The greatest transformation is not always external. Sometimes it happens quietly within the heart. Sometimes the most remarkable growth cannot be measured by achievements, possessions, or visible success. Sometimes it is measured by the strength of your character, the depth of your understanding, the steadiness of your spirit, and the kindness you extend to others. You have been becoming someone stronger than fear, someone wiser than frustration, someone more patient than before, someone capable of carrying compassion into places where healing is needed. This transformation may not always be visible to you, but it is real. Every difficult moment has contributed to it. Every challenge has shaped it. Every season has refined it. And one day when you look back on this chapter, you will realize that while you thought you were simply waiting for life to change, life was quietly shaping you into the person you were always meant to become. And now, my child, after everything you have carried, everything you have learned, and everything that has been quietly forming within you, there comes a moment when growth asks for a response. Not a perfect response, not a dramatic response, simply an honest one, because there are seasons when life is about enduring, and there are seasons when life is about choosing. This is one of those moments. You have spent so much time carrying burdens that were never meant to stay in your hands forever. You have held on to worries, replayed old disappointments, protected old wounds, and carried responsibilities that have left your spirit exhausted. But now I want to invite you into something different. I want to invite you into release. Let go of the belief that you must control every outcome before you can have peace. Let go of the fear that tells you everything depends entirely on your strength. Let go of the pressure to have every answer before taking the next step. There are some things you were never meant to carry. There are some questions that will not be solved through endless worrying. There are some doors that will not open through striving alone. My child, there is a freedom that begins when you stop gripping so tightly to what you cannot control. There is a freedom that begins when you loosen your hold on the weight that has been draining your spirit. I know that letting go can feel uncomfortable. Sometimes the burden becomes so familiar that it feels safer to carry it than to release it. Sometimes the fear becomes so familiar that it feels easier to stay guarded than to trust again. Sometimes the disappointment becomes so familiar that it feels easier to expect the worst than to hope for something better. But I am inviting you to take a different path. Let go of what is keeping your heart trapped in yesterday. Forgive those who wounded you, not because what happened was acceptable, but because your future deserves more space than your pain. Forgive yourself for the mistakes you continue to replay. Forgive yourself for the seasons when you stumbled. Forgive yourself for being human. You have carried enough shame. You have carried enough regret. You do not need to build a permanent home out of past failures. Release them. Let them go. And as you let go, trust. Trust that growth has not been wasted. Trust that the process has meaning. Trust that the lessons learned during difficult seasons are still working within you. Trust that what has been planted beneath the surface is stronger than it appears. Trust that you do not need to see the entire road in order to take the next step. Trust does not require certainty about tomorrow. Trust simply chooses to move forward despite uncertainty. My child, surrender is not weakness. Surrender is not giving up. Surrender is the courage to stop carrying what was never yours to carry alone. It is the decision to stop fighting battles that have already exhausted your soul. It is the willingness to release fear's grip and make room for peace. There is something beautiful that happens when a heart finally stops resisting and begins trusting. The tension begins to soften. The pressure begins to ease. The constant need to figure everything out begins to quiet down. You do not need to have every detail resolved today. You do not need to force every answer into existence. You do not need to carry every burden on your shoulders. What I am inviting you into is simpler than that. Let go, forgive, surrender, trust. Not because life is suddenly perfect, not because every challenge has disappeared, but because you are no longer the same person who entered this season. Wisdom has grown within you. Resilience has strengthened you. Patience has steadied you. Compassion has softened you. And now these qualities are leading you toward a new decision. A decision to release what no longer serves your spirit and embrace what brings life. This invitation is not about striving harder. It is about opening your hands. It is about making room for peace where fear once lived. It is about making room for hope where disappointment once settled. It is about making room for trust where uncertainty once ruled. And as you stand at this moment, you do not have to force the future into place. You only need to take this next step with an open heart, willing to release what weighs you down, and willing to trust that there is still goodness ahead, still growth ahead, still purpose ahead, and still more healing waiting to unfold within your life. And now, my child, as you take a moment to breathe in the quiet assurance of this presence, I want you to consider the horizon before you, the part of your journey that you cannot yet see. You may feel uncertain, even hesitant, because the future is veiled, and yet there is a stirring that cannot be ignored, a sense that something new is coming. Imagine a page yet to be written, a chapter waiting for your first step, a season ready to bloom with opportunity. The possibilities stretch far beyond the limitations you have imposed on yourself. You may not know the details, the exact timing, or the shape of what is ahead, but that is part of the wonder. There is a restoration that has been quietly forming, a repair of what has been broken, and a reordering of what seemed lost. Like a river carving through rock, unseen work has been shaping the course of your days, building channels that will carry blessings and breakthroughs you cannot yet measure. Opportunities will present themselves, not always in the way you expect, but in ways that align with the growth that has been taking place within you. You may notice moments when doors that were once closed begin to shift. You may feel unexpected encouragements, sudden clarity, or a gentle nudging in a new direction. These are signals that the future is opening, that the new chapter is ready to be explored. And though the path is still unclear, each small step taken with trust, patience, and courage adds momentum to what has been waiting to unfold. The seeds of new beginnings have already been planted in your heart, watered by the lessons learned, and strengthened by the perseverance you have shown. They are ready to grow into opportunities for breakthrough, into experiences that will bring joy, fulfillment, and renewed purpose. Imagine the restoration of hope in places you thought were barren. Imagine the opening of doors to possibilities that your mind has not yet imagined. Imagine the kind of life that emerges when patience, endurance, and wisdom cultivated through seasons of waiting begin to manifest in tangible ways. It will not be perfect, and it will not always be easy, but it will be meaningful, and it will be a reflection of the care, timing, and guidance that has accompanied you all along. You may feel anxious about what you cannot see, but allow yourself to feel the excitement of what is coming, the anticipation of what has been silently prepared for you. Each moment of preparation, each season of waiting, has been purposeful. Each difficulty you have faced has contributed to the readiness of your spirit to embrace this new chapter. And so, as you look toward the unseen, open your heart to the possibilities, embrace the potential of what lies ahead, and allow the hope that has been growing quietly within you to shine forth. There is a future filled with promise, a story unfolding that is more beautiful than your imagination allows, and a series of blessings and transformations that will surprise and delight you. Step forward with courage, with openness, with the willingness to receive, and trust that the best is yet to come. For you are entering a season that has been prepared with care, full of hope, and filled with the quiet assurance that what has been sown will bloom in its time. And now, my beloved, as this moment draws to a close, I want you to carry with you a sense of calm that has been quietly present throughout our time together. You have listened, and your heart has been invited to pause, to reflect, and to release what no longer serves you. Take this peace into your day, not as a fleeting feeling, but as a grounding truth that you can return to whenever the noise of the world becomes too heavy. Remember the resilience that has been growing within you, the wisdom that has formed through patience, and the compassion that has softened your soul. These are treasures that cannot be taken away, and they will continue to support you as you walk through each day. Let your spirit rest in the assurance that the waiting was not wasted, that the challenges were shaping you for greater understanding, and that the love and care surrounding you are steadfast and unwavering. Take with you the courage to let go of fear, the willingness to forgive, the strength to trust even when you cannot see the entire path, and the openness to embrace the possibilities ahead. You do not need to carry the weight alone any longer. The burdens that pressed so heavily against your heart can be released into a space where grace can fill what was empty, where hope can rise again in places that felt hopeless, and where joy can quietly grow where sorrow once lingered. Keep the lessons, my child, but leave the bitterness behind. Keep the hope, but release the anxiety. Keep the desire to move forward, but let the tension in your chest ease into the stillness that allows healing to deepen. This is a blessing upon you, not because the road ahead will be without trials, but because you are no longer the same person who first began this journey. You have been shaped, prepared, and renewed from within. You are stronger, wiser, gentler, and more patient. Carry this truth with you. The transformations that have occurred inside you are the foundation for the life that is yet to unfold. When you encounter the uncertainty of the days ahead, let this peace remind you that you have already been equipped, that your spirit has already been trained in endurance, and that your heart has already been strengthened in love. Let your steps be guided by confidence rather than fear, by hope rather than doubt, by the quiet strength that has been cultivated through each season of growth. And always remember, my beloved, that as you walk forward, every step you take is witnessed, every breath you draw is held, and every moment of courage you practice matters in ways you cannot yet measure. Take this blessing and carry it as a shield for your spirit, a light for your mind, and a comfort for your heart. You are entering the world not as one broken or defeated, but as one who has been prepared, as one who has endured, as one who has grown in ways unseen and profound. Let the calmness settle in, let the peace fill you fully, and let the certainty of care, hope, and renewal guide your every thought and choice. Hold on to this as you move forward, for the journey is ongoing, but you are not alone, and you are more than able to meet it with a heart that has been steadied, a soul that has been nurtured, and a spirit that has been strengthened. And finally, take with you this promise for your life today. You are entering each new moment ready, supported, and cherished, carrying within you the quiet assurance that what has begun in your spirit will continue to unfold in beauty, in joy, and in lasting peace.